somebody needs to be,
literally hearing her talk about actually the way Ellen tells you that she talks about it. Literally said to me, was that
I
right?
don't know.
If you want to learn
But
from Ellen, you
based
are.
on what the orthopedic doctor told me, she should be healed.
And Ellen doesn't like it.
Heather gave you the music. Heather gave you the music.
Not yet.
We've got,
Stop.
That might be why she's.
emergency room had monitored. Emergency room gave us a doctor in the shore. So we called his office, and he turns out to be a surgeon. He doesn't deal with this kind of stuff. So we kept
That should be service, but in the back. I'm always in the back.
well, with nurse practitioner.
I'm getting there.
She brought this up with his
But I still like to get
orthopedic guy.
Gary's no nifty.
an old guy. Yeah, lift.
There's nothing with her injury, there's nothing you can do.
I still
It
can't.
just has to heal.
You can go over.
These two months.
My niece went to Gucci,
So he's,
Wow.
which is in Indiana.
Right.
We were living in Toronto, we drove to visit her. Because her mother was.
That was right.
Yeah, that's
well,
good.
she's
Shabbat shalom.
She was going through this.
Well, I'm waiting. I'll go to the library.
Shabbat shalom. I thought we would start. Most of the weeks that I've been here, we've started with Hine Mato, but I thought this Shabbat, I could teach a melody that we can then use later in the service. It's a melody for Oseh Shalom. I hope you enjoy it. It's pretty simple, so I'll sing it a couple times and hopefully we can get comfortable. So when it comes in the service, you'll feel comfortable to join me. Oseh Shalom, Bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'Yakol Yisrael B'Meru. Amen. That's the entire melody. Feel free to join me. Oseh Shalom, Bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'Yakol Yisrael B'Meru. Amen. It does repeat, and instead of Al Yisrael, we add that Al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. So let's sing it once, and we'll throw that in. Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'Yakol Yoshvei Tevel B'Meru. Amen. Let's just sing it one more time. Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'Yakol Yisrael B'Meru. Amen. So we'll come back to that after our silent prayer. There's some English and Hebrew that goes with it, but I hope you'll join in singing that. Shabbat Shalom. For those who don't know, I'm Cantor Harrison. Rabbi Feshbach is well. He's enjoying a well-deserved vacation. I believe he's in Connecticut right now. Is that right, Connecticut? He's in Connecticut, right, Rabbi? Yeah.
We're not sure where he is.
Okay, he's on vacation. I think it's Connecticut.
He's on 95.
Allegedly in Connecticut.
Allegedly in Connecticut. On the bottom of page 124, we read responsibly as we begin our worship service. Page 124. May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome all with their cares to unburden, thanks to express, most to nurture.
May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young and straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May his synagogue be for all who enter, the doorway to treasure and beauty.
We continue with Lechuna Ranana and Shiru Ladonai, pages 130 and page 131. Lechune Ranana, Lechune Ranana, Lechune Ranana, Ladonai, Lechune Ranana, Lechune Ranana, Lechune Ranana, Ladonai. Nadia, Nadia, Litzoi, Sheku, Dekadma, Bana, Mitota. Nadia, Nadia, Litzoi, Sheku, Bismirot, Liado. Lechune Ranana, Lechune Ranana, Lechune Ranana, Ladonai. Lechune Ranana, Lechune Ranana, Lechune Ranana, Ladonai. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru Miyom Liyom Yeshuato. Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru Miyom Liyom Yeshuato. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Lechune Ranana, Lechune Ranana, Lechune Ranana, Ladonai. Lechune Ranana, Lechune Ranana, Lechune Ranana, Ladonai. We continue with a reading that is not in the Siddur. It's taken from the beach service, but I think it's appropriate as we begin to think about chanting Lecha Dodi. When God created the world, God made everything a little bit incomplete. Instead of making bread grow out of the earth, God made wheat grow so that we might bake it into bread. Instead of making the earth of bricks, God made it of clay so that human beings might bake the clay into bricks. Instead of giving us glass, God left us sand so that we might use our hands and our minds to make something new. Why? So that we could become partners with God in the task of completing the world. We continue on page 138, Lecha Dodi, as is the minhag of Beth Israel, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Ooh, we do not want it that high.
Shabbat,
Continue on page 22 together the psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai. I'm sorry, not page 22. You guys use the other page numbers. My apologies. Page 140. Page 140. A song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds. Adonai, I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness. attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no wrong. Page 144, we rise for Chatzi Kaddish and face towards east. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi, Yalmad yifach rutei yadich malchutei, v'chayekon u'koyimachekon u'kayekon beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kadiv v'imenu ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומעביר לבין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. At the bottom of 151 responsively. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things are to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What be a true token of your abiding love?
Then this, holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kibud Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. We continue on 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha u'chol nafshecha u'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinatam levadecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'vlechecha b'derech u'shoftecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot ha'yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam ha'mitzvot beitecha u'v'yisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. At the top of 157, Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is to return to Egypt, that there is a good place, the promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Mi chamocha vayim Adonai, mi chamocha nehetar kodesh, Nora tehilot da sefer, Nora tehilot o sefer, malchutecha ra'u v'necha, makei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, zeh li'anu v'yameru, Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, le'olam va'ed, v'nemar kifat Adonai et Yaakov, u'ge'alo miyad chasat mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai God Yisrael. On page 160. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha. We continue on the top of 161 together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may abide in peace and rise up in victory. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. And we continue with V'shamru on page 162. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'toratam g'dolam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'toratam g'dolam. B'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'toratam g'dolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'toratam g'dolam. U'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'toratam g'dolam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'toratam g'dolam. We continue on page 165 as we prepare for the Amidah. This is actually one of my favorite prayers in the Siddur, because it reminds us of the essence of prayer, even for those who struggle with a personal, responsive sense of the divine. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We rise for Hatzafilah as we face peace. Adonai, Sefat Vaytivta, Uvia Hitehilatera. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Ha'dibur V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh V'Nichol, V'Zomer Masel V'Rimachot, V'Vikud Ha'Livneihem, L'man Shemo V'Yahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach V'Madim, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Yisrael Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh Hakol atah, Rav leHoshia, Modim atah, Mechakel Chayim bechesed, Mechayeh Hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asulim, Umikayehem emunato, Vishenei afar, Mi kamocha ba'al gevurot, Umitom benecha, Melech megid, Umikayeh, Umasriach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha hakadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom ya'alu kasecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. We continue at the top of 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth together. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. On 175. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when hate clouds the mind, we look inward for the answers to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and assurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all of Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha, v'yirah na'avod. Modim anachnu lach. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, atov shivcha ulechana lehodot. On 178th Birkat Shalom, our blessing for peace. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahun lechadon lechol hashalom. Ki atahun lechadon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov me'enecha levarech et amecha Yisrael bechol et ubechol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael ve'et kol ha'amim b'shalom. We take a moment of silent prayer now to add our own personal thoughts and meditations to those of the tradition of our Siddur. Elohai nitzun lishoni me'ah usvatayim medaber b'yamav v'tach libi b'toratecha mitzvotecha tedov nafshi oseh shalom v'bracha We continue on page 371 with our prayers for healing. Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yivarech et Kol HaCholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless all those who are in need of healing, and will share in our Mishaberach, allowing the names to be embraced by the melody. So we'll begin in song. Mishaberach, Shabbat, we particularly think of Pam Cinderbrand, Mona Ellis, Murray Savar, Melinda Jacobs, Norman Grad, Chana Batova Esther, and if there are names you would like to add to this list aloud, this is certainly a wonderful time to do so.
Jacob Wetzel, Cynthia Kaplan, and Ellen Rosen.
Jacob Lefoni.
Courtney Barry, Susan,
And
Laura Smith.
And anyone who may be watching online, feel free to add a name to our list that we've stated out loud live. Mishaberach, Imotenu, B'kol Abraham, V'Avotenu, bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Though Rabbi Feshbach is not here, you didn't get out of a short little sermon. I've always, for anybody who's been in my office before or who may eventually come to this office and hear, I've always kept two small plaques visually present in my office. One, a fit mom is a powerful mom. And two, without chocolate, life would be darkness and chaos. These two memes reflect seemingly opposing values, and yet both, at least for me, are true. I love physical fitness, and the meme was purchased once when I was actively doing triathlons. And I love chocolate. It keeps my world less chaotic, and I eat more than is appropriate for really staying so fit. Life and the human condition are full of contradictions, and I'm certainly no exception. Just over a week ago, Jews throughout the world marked Tish B'Av, the 9th of Av, a day that Rabbi Feshbach reminded us last Shabbat is set aside for the commemoration of tragedy and destruction. It's a day of lamentation. Literally, we read the book of Lamentations of Eicha on Tish B'Av. Just 6 days later, this past Wednesday, we mark Tu B'Av, the 15th of Av, a minor holiday celebrating love that the Talmud claims is one of the 2 best days of the entire Jewish calendar. Can you guess the other of the 2 days? Yom Kippur. You heard that right. Yom Kippur. Tu B'Av, a holiday now celebrated as a day not unlike our American Valentine's Day, was lifted up in late antiquity, at least by Shimon ben Gamliel, as significant as Yom Kippur. Now, the reasoning was most likely tied to the desire to marry off women in the community and hence promote Jewish survival and the perpetuation of lineage. But still, the connection is quite remarkable. Tu B'Av, a holiday associated with matchmaking and love connections, and Yom Kippur, the culmination of our season of repentance, are held together in one place in Talmud. Also remarkable is how the span of just 6 days, we are asked to experience and move through such a broad spectrum of emotions. From the lows of sorrow and mourning to the highs of romantic love. In less than a week, we go from lamenting death and destruction to the equally potent, albeit far more joyful celebration of love and connection. Life is full of contradictions. And it seems a dramatic pivot, and one that, at least for me, this summer demands attention. As some of you may know, for the last 9 weeks, I've been working at CHOP, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, fulfilling an internship experience in spiritual care, also known as chaplaincy. Although, just so you're aware, chaplaincy is an old-fashioned word these days. We chaplains prefer spiritual care providers. This is not my first foray into hospital-based trauma-informed spiritual care. This is actually my 4th internship. And of course, I've sat in the presence of trauma, disease, and tragedy, as well as death in my congregational roles over decades of experience in synagogue life. This, however, is my first experience in a hospital devoted to the care of children. What is unique about CHOP isn't the trauma or level of illness. I've kept company too many times than I'd like to count with those experiencing the depths of pain and trauma in other settings. What has been enlightening and extraordinary is the opportunity to bear witness to the bittersweet and frequent coupling of joy and loss. Watching the playful nature of the nursing staff and child life specialist staff as they care for children enduring complicated and enduring medical issues. Sitting with new parents who have just experienced immense joy over the birth of a child, simultaneously with their unimaginable pain of having to sit with that child through illness and potentially heart-wrenching decisions. Life is complicated. Conflicting emotions, however, can be shared in one space. Joy, pain, sorrow, and love, they can all be felt simultaneously. In just a couple of weeks, we will begin the month of Elul and our formal preparations for the Yamim Noraim, our high holiday season. If we accept the midrashic notion that the world was created on Rosh Hashanah, then by extension, these last couple weeks of Av, along with the month of Ul, comprise the days when God is preparing to give birth to the world. Modern mystics actually view this period as a pregnancy of sorts, marked by deep and possibly conflicted feelings. What's in store? Am I ready? Is the love I can give and receive enough? Will I be able to withstand the challenges in the year ahead? And what about this world in which we live? Can it withstand the forces of destruction? The coupling of Tish B'Av and Tu B'Av, just 6 days apart, can remind us that we can hold diametrically opposed feelings in our heart and in our souls. We can celebrate joy even in uncertainty. We can acknowledge the love we experience and share even while there is tragedy around us. One emotion doesn't have to cancel the other. The human condition is complicated, and we can hold seemingly opposing emotions in our hearts in harmony. This week's Torah portion, Akev, contains within it a binary way of thinking. It opens with a pure distillation of the Deuteronomistic theology. If you do X, Y, and Z, I will love you and make you great. But if you don't do X, Y, and Z, you will be cursed. This notion that love can only be felt under certain ideal conditions doesn't resonate at all for me. And I don't believe it holds up against reality. I can understand it biblically as an attempt to consolidate community, as it most apparently was its intent. But I cannot understand it as a viable approach to existence. So in just 6 weeks, we all will welcome a new Jewish year. I said that right, by the way. It's only 6 weeks away. Our high holiday season of Teshuvah. I'm not big on resolutions myself, but allow me to challenge all of us to lean into the lesson of our 2 Av holidays as we look ahead to Elul, as opposed to the lesson of our Torah portion. Can we carry some of the love and connectivity we celebrate on Tu B'Av with us throughout our season of introspection and judgment? Can we hold compassion for and judgment of ourselves together in the same space? Can we find joy even as we approach the potentially painful process of deconstructing and taking a cheshbon hanefesh, an accounting of our souls? I hope so. For that ability to hold opposing emotions in one heart is at the core of our very humanity. And dare I say, it is also what makes us holy and godly. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Our president, I believe, has synagogue announcements for all of us.
Shabbat Shalom to everybody that's here this evening and to those that are watching from home. I know that we have some guests with us this evening, and so I would like to say welcome, and we hope that we get to see you again, that you come back. I do want to thank Cantor Harrison. She has been here for several of our services, and she's done some of the B'nai Mitzvah that we've had, but this is the first time that she has carried the service herself, which is nothing new to her. She's been a cantor for a long time. But we do want to thank you for the beautiful service, your beautiful voice, and maybe Rabbi is watching, I don't know. He could be. If you are Rabbi, Shabbat Shalom. So a few announcements. There will not be Torah study or services tomorrow morning. They will resume again on August the 19th. The services next Friday evening, August 11th, will be at 5:30. There is a beach service on Friday, August the 18th at 5:30 on Huntington Avenue Beach in Margate. And please, if you come to that, remember to bring your chairs. There is an adult book group which will meet on Wednesday, August 30th at 1 p.m. here at the Cohen Library. The selection is The Librarian of Burned Books. And if you have gotten your form for the Book of Remembrance, please turn it into the office. If you have not gotten it, you can get it online or we can give you one here. And if you are registering any children for religious school, please let the office know about that. We are also collecting supplies, unused school supplies for our friends at the New Hope Baptist Church. So if you have anything, please bring it into the office. With that, I say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So we can now begin to conclude our service with Aleinu on the bottom of page 586. because I'm still not great at names. Could I have 2 volunteers to open the ark? Because otherwise I'm going to pick on the people that I'm confident in. Thank you. Actually, we rise. The text in the bottom of the page. Did you want to come up also? Sure. It'd be great to have 2. Thank you. Can you take a door? Aleinu Shabbat Laton HaKol Latei Tula Lioseh Bereshit Shelo Asanu Kigayeh Ha'aratzot Velo Hosavanu Kemishpachot Ha'adama Shelo Sam Chelkeinu B'hem Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam V'anachnu Poriim Umishtakavim Umodim Lifnei Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu She'unot Hashamayim B'yoser Haaretz Umoshav Yikaro Hashamayim Mima'al Ushchinatu Zo Begofei Meramim. You may be seated. I just lost my place. This is why we need a rabbi and a candle. Emet Malkeinu Efesulato Kagatu Betorato V'yadata hayom v'hashevota ele b'havecha Ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim Bashamayim mima'al V'al ha'aretz Nitachat Evod V'nemar Ya Adonai L'melech al kol ha'aretz Bayom hahu Hikyeh Adonai echad U'shemo echad. On page 594. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and owe to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to love what death has just touched. Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. On this Shabbat, we mark yahrzeits, the anniversary of their deaths, to Irma Askowitz, Adele Bayer, Roger Bloch, Ray Ehrenberg, Helen Faringer, Betty Halpern, Martin Cantor, Madeline Curley, Louis Lansford, Gertrude Leibowitz, Morty Matlick, B. Jean Mayers, Richard Okanow, Mike Parlin, Philip Pinsky, Stella Pissetsner, Rose Rosenberg, Herbert Rothenberg, Estelle Sabbath, Greta Seelig, Sylvia Schaefer, Dr. George Slaughterhoff, Lieutenant Leon Spitzer, Dorothy Stark, Minnie Starkman, Mary Ulitsky, Francine Vogel, Bertha Walter, Jacob Warshaw, and Joseph Zucker. And we link their names with those who we recite this Shabbat, who are, for those for whom we are observing Shloshim, recent deaths. For Alan Rosenfield, David Goldberg, Stanley Waldman, and Diane Klein. And I invite anyone to either correct a pronunciation and or add a name to our list. And I invite those who may be watching from home to also feel free to add a name to our list. As we invite the entire congregation to rise for Kaddish on page 598. Yitkadal, Yitkadash Shemei Rabba, B'yaman Yivra B'yutei, B'yamid Pamutei, B'chayechon, B'yomechon, B'chayei T'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalah B'zman Karib V'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba M'barach Le'olam Olamei Almaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitba'ar V'yitbalar V'yitnaseh. V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei Yerusha V'richu. Le'elam Min Kol Birchatcha V'shirata. Tushvachata V'nechamata. Da'miran V'amah V'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Mishamayim, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Rama, Uya Aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Rama, Uya Aseh Shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Zichronam livracha, may all those who we listed and whom we love and whom we remember be remembered as a blessing. On page 625, we conclude our service with a Don Olam, after which I hope you'll join me for Kiddush and Motzi. It's out in the lobby, correct?
And chocolate.
And chocolate. Because without chocolate, there would be chaos. Absolutely. A Don Olam, page 625. Adon Olam, Hashem Olam, B'Tselem Kol Yitzir Nivra, V'yet Daso V'Temso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nivra, V'yacharei Kikot Hakol, Levado Yimlok Nora, V'hu Haya V'hu Koveh, V'hu Yigeh V'Tikvara, V'hu Echad V'yein Sheni, V'am Shilo V'hamtira, V'V'Rishit V'Litachlit, V'lo Ha'oz V'Hamisra, Yalalalai, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
The wife just said that.
Oh, thank you.
They're really nice and they all do.
Yeah, and Beverly's been to get together, and I told her it has to wait till after shop,
Yeah.
which is only another week and a half.
I explained that.
Yeah, it's just too exhausting.
How come we have two customers?
Yes.